I'm back officially from North Carolina. It's been a while. I've had a few folks reaching out to me, over email or through here, Instagram, whatever it may be, asking when I was going to get the videos up and going again. And what I told everybody really is I want to, I just don't have the time. It's been non-stop since moving down here. The shop was not in good shape. Had to do a lot of work here, insulation, sheetrock, you name it. There was a lot of work to get done here to get it ready for hide season and everything. And then as soon as that got finished up, hunting season started and the hides started rolling in. It was a full court press from there. Not exaggerating, 80 to 100 hours a week, just between the actual job and the hides. It's been a ton of work, so I haven't been able to get to this. I haven't tied a fly since moving here. Hoping to fix that here soon, but I still have a lot of work ahead of me. But just kind of wanted to go through some improvements and everything, and highlight some of the products that we have this year and moving forward, and just kind of go through some things. I've been getting some questions on some stuff here and there, getting some feedback from folks. That ain't good. Getting some feedback from folks on the hair. Folks have some questions and everything, so I figured I'd address a couple of things and then go through some of the lessons learned that I've gotten so far, and highlight some of the improvements as well. So I don't even know where to start. There's so much stuff here. The new stuff for this year. We've been promising it for a long time. Kelly alluded to it last year when we launched, that the short find was going to be here, and it is here. A ton of it. I've got, I think I counted 247 tails. So, one-man show. That's doesn't leave a whole lot of time for much else. But 247 hides. Hunting season's long down here in Carolina, man. I was used to like a month-long window in Montana. Not here, man. They go from mid-September, all the way to 2 Jan, I think. It's a long season. So Scott, the guy that I was getting hides from this year, man, he was a good old boy. I actually had to shut it off in December. I was like, I can't take any more. I was just maxed. And then there's 100 plus coming from Idaho. My buddy Jack, he's tanning some hides up there, getting everything ready, so once they get down here, it'll just be dying, and then cutting them up, grading them, packaging, getting them out to Kelly, and going from there. But there has been a little bit of delay on my end getting hair out to Kelly this year. It's just been, the move didn't help. It put me months behind, and then the shop and everything here, and then getting this. I still have hides from Montana that I'm processing too, so I mean, it's just I'm not there's not much of a end in sight, I guess, but we're getting there, making some big improvements. So, and that's part of the reason that there hasn't been as much hair on my end going out to Kelly, is because of the process improvement. That's where we'll start. So last year, you guys, there was the video that I did where I said that I was working toward a certain quality on the finish of the hide. It's there. I got it figured out, and here is one of them right here. There you can see it's a suede finish on the back side, and also completely pliable. This is a Sculpin Olive right here. Turned out absolutely perfect. Like this clean black break. The hair is like 1.75 inches. It's absolutely perfect. And then, like I said, the hide finish, it's actually tan, it's flexible. So last year what I was doing, and even some this year, I was using an alum tan in a tumbler. And I'm not going to get real technical on the tanning process. Maybe for another video, I could. I don't know. I probably won't. But I can talk for hours on the tanning process. I've learned so much in that. This is what we were having last year, and this isn't even dry yet. So, like, you can see this thing's just all crinkled up. I mean, the hair's still great, but it's all constricted. This started out as this, okay? This was on, I believe, an alum tan. I've since switched to some synthetics. There's some that I like more than others, but it's all still trial and error, with a lot more air than anything. But this is what we were getting last year, well, what I was getting. And then when you get this, one, you're never getting it back to a 4x8 ever. What I was doing is I would stretch it out, I would tack it down, and then I would just try to smooth it out as much as I could to hopefully get a 3x4. A lot of times it would just wind up going either in the trash because it was so far gone, or I would keep it. And I have a stack over there that I'll tie with myself, because I mean I'm not going to sell that on the market. I'm not going to put it out there. I mean it's just not good. I mean, you can't market that. It'll break. It's real brittle. So once it dries, it's really brittle. It'll break and snap, and it's got some sharp edges and all that. So it's just wasn't the product that I was looking for. So in getting to that, it went. Oh man, I was doing so much research. I mean, on leather, and I was watching videos on leather and all of this, and there is what the industry calls a T rating for every tanning method, I guess, whether it be an alum tan, a vegetable tan, bark tan, or chrome, synthetic, and found out that the alum tan would only be heat tolerant up into about 135 degrees. For me, I was getting 120 out of it, probably at best, before things would constrict and I would lose surface area and quality of the product. So I would get about 120 and things would just go, and you can feel it almost instantly when it's in the dye bath. Like when you have your hands on it, you can, when I'm mixing things around to get the dye penetration the way that I want it, like I could feel it, and it would just, I knew that it was gone. So switching over to the synthetic, it gets me, I haven't pushed it too far yet. I did some chrome, I pushed that up to 205, and it, for the most part, good. But what I will say is, I figured out black. That has been another struggle right there. Dyeing stuff black is one of the absolute toughest things to do. It needs the most heat, just because there are so many colors that go into making a black. Certain colors strike at a different time, so, or a certain temperature, I should say. So I mean, you have to get this thing all the way up. Probably 170 is where you need it for the blacks to take. Maybe a little bit higher than that. I'm still working through that. This one's still a little rigid, just because I had to raise the temperature so much on it to get the color. But I think that there's some things that I can do to tweak. But that'll be for later on. There probably won't be any black on the market this year. For next tying season, there will be. I will have the peacock, which I don't have any here. I just did a run of that the other day. It turned out pretty good. It was a lighter peacock, but I have some black or dark peacock, which is black all the way up to the tips, and then it has like a greenish color to it. Really, really good looking stuff. So I should have some of that depending on drying time once it gets out of there, or once it's drying, I can get that out to Kelly and them. So it should be there here relatively soon, this spring for sure. But the goal is, I mean, we're pretty much past tying season. I mean, we're mid-March right now. We're past the bulk of tying season for your traditional tires. The goal is for next year to have the inventory build up on every single product, and we'll go through those here in a little bit. On every single product to have inventory on hand to when, Kelly and Johnny are ready to start stocking up for winter. Just ship everything out and it'll all be available to you guys. So that's the plan. Going to be a lot of work between now and then building up inventory. I'm already starting on some of the stuff that he's full up on, like the naturals and some of the bleach. I'm already starting to build some inventory there. Short fine, like I said, insane amount. Right now, only in 4 colors. I haven't shipped any of the light done out to Kelly yet. There's still some few things that I'm working through on that. I'm not too happy. I'll highlight that in a little bit here as well. I should have wrote some notes so I would be able to keep on track here, because it's just been non-stop. I got so many things that I'd like to talk about and like to highlight, but yeah, I had about an hour window. I've got about 8 here in the pickle, 4 tanning, 2 are being bleached right now. So I got about an hour window to where I don't have to actively work on anything. So I figured I'll sit down and shoot a video real quick and get an update to everybody. Another thing that I had found in getting to this point right here was the hide needs to be completely broken. It doesn't matter which tanning system you use. If it's not broken, you're going to wind up with this. I think maybe that was a synthetic tan. Either way, it made it to 120, and that's what I got, and that shouldn't happen. But found out that it wasn't broken all the way, so that's why I couldn't get to this end result right here. It still feels a little damp. Actually, still feels a little damp. But so that was another thing that I've been working through. Right now I'm breaking everything by hand, which is a huge time suck. Takes an insane amount of time and a lot of strain on the back. So I'll be building a breaking wheel here hopefully in a month or so, and that will cut down a lot on the amount of time that I'm spending on that, and then also result in a better quality product. So what we'll do now is just kind of go through the products as it stands right now, what's going to be available, and then maybe what's on the horizon coming up. So to start, we're going to go with the tails. You'll notice right away that this is not what your traditional tail looks like. It's soft and pliable and moves, and it's not all twisted up and cracked and everything. It's easier to work with. You're not losing material because of stuff cracking and breaking. At the end of the day, is this a huge deal? No, not really. But I think it makes things a lot easier. It's a lot easier to work with. There's no fat on it, you can see. It's all scraped clean, tanned, broken, and like I said, soft and pliable. Now the entire thing's usable. You don't have to twist and move stuff around to get it to where it's usable for you. So that's one advancement that we've made on the tails right there. A little bit of extra work goes into it, but I think it's worth it in the long run. It does give you a better product, and got a dead tick there. Gives you a better product, and looks a lot better on the shelf as well compared to something that's all twisted up and mangled and what have you. So that's the first thing right there. Second is the belly hair. Belly hair Um, this is just plain white. That's, you know, what I have available right now. I haven't got a chance to get into the belly hair just yet. I've got a whole tote of it and a bunch of stuff ready to go, ready to be dyed. I just haven't had the time to get to it. So it's not really my focus right now. But as you can see also, tanned, broken, pliable, not your twisted, mangled up belly hair that you've had in the past that we've all tied with. That's just an absolute pain in the ass to work with, and you wind up losing material because of it. The belly hair is very tough to get size specific like we can with the body hair, with the with the short fine, with the spinning hair, whatever it is. You can't really put it into a 4x8 or a 3x4. I try as best I can to get it close to a 3x3 patch, but there's so many twists and turns on the belly itself depending on how the deer was skinned. Some folks do it a different way. Some folks, most everybody right up through the middle, right through your belly hair, and then they lay it out on both sides. I've seen others to where they have the belly hair all on one side, so it's really kind of tough. That, and it doesn't follow a straight line on the deer as well, so it's kind of tough to get your 3x3s. I get as best as I can to a 3x3, and then if I'm short on something, I'll add a second piece to kind of make up the difference. But that's what we're looking at there, all tanned, all flexible, all pliable, and then, like I said, the entire range of colors we'll have on the belly hair available for next year. I'm hoping. I overextended myself this year, doing 250 hides and still having hides to work from last year. And yeah, it was just a stupid amount of work. But we're getting there. We've gotten through a good amount. I need to hire folks is what I need to do. I need to be able to hire, but right now I can't do it. Just with my schedule being so unpredictable. And yeah, but 3 years I'm able to retire. Under 3 now, actually, as of this month. Under 3 I'm able to retire. And that's when full production will be going right there. So getting back into the hair, let's go to the spinning hair real quick. So now that the hide portion is figured out, we have these nice soft pliable hides. We're gonna really get into the grading of the hair, probably just 1s and 2s, because it's very difficult. I don't know, there may be, like this one right here, I would hate to even call that a 1 because it's so good. Like it's absolutely perfect. There's little waves in the actual hair going up to the color break. The tips aren't very long, they're nice and short. I don't know, this ones like this may be in a class of their own, and then 1s and 2s below that. You don't get very many of these. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll get 2 or 3 off of a hide. And that's a prime hide. I'll get into a little bit of that as far as the tip length and all of that stuff goes here in a little bit. This one here would probably be your 2, okay? Right now, as we're selling them, they're just 4x8s and same price for this is what you pay for this one right here, when they're, in my opinion, is a vast difference between the two. Still going to be able to create great flies, but there's no color break right here. This is on the transition down to the belly hair. I typically bleach these ones. You get your nice consistent bleach out of them, but I did this one as a whole hide, so I dyed the entire hide, and this is what we got. Still great, like I said, for spinning hair. It's going to be good. You're going to be able to, great dungeons out of that. All of your spinning hair stuff you're going to be able to do with this. It's just you don't have that color break. This is just superior in my opinion. There's a little bit more volume in there as well. Kind of going into the hackle world. You know, the more volume that you get on a hackle, the more, you know, the higher they grade it and everything. So we're looking at doing the same thing with deer hair. That way, I mean, because most everybody buys online right now. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's folks go into the shop, but most everyone's buying stuff online. So, I mean, you're going to know exactly what you're getting by the grade. And then also, I mean, you just be able to call the guys up and talk with them at the shop if you're looking for, you know, size 14 caddis. You want something that's not real tippy. They'll be able to go through, sort what they have, and get exactly what you're looking for. So that was the goal the entire time on this, was to be able to reassure folks that they're going to be getting what they're after. You just may have to pick the phone up when you place your order, or put a note on your order online, or whatever it may be. But you'll be able to get exactly what you're looking for. Here's some of the other ones that, you know, just didn't quite make the. This was an alum tan. This was an alum tan. This started out as a 4x8. This is just a trim section, but it's all busted up. Nice olive. I mean, great color. Great color, but I mean, I can't do anything with that as far as selling it, so I'll tie with that one. Same with this right here, Sculpin olive. Really nice color, good dye set and everything, but the hide section just busted up on me and not usable. I mean, it's usable, but I mean, I'm not selling it when I'm looking for consistency and everything like we have with these over here. So, moving on, we've got the black right there. We talked about that one a little bit. We're going to get into the short fine now. Actually, let me touch on the stimmies real quick. I think these ones are going to be going out of... I don't know if we're going to be carrying these anymore. I got to talk with the boys and figure it out. But I think what we're going to do instead of the stimmies is just the mid-season spinning hair is essentially the same thing. It's just dyed. Some of it's natural, bleached, whatever it is. But it's essentially the same thing. This is one... It's over an inch long, but less than an inch and a half. That's mid-season right there. So your mid-season or your stimmy hair, this is great for your stimmies, your hoppers, you know, your October caddis, whatever it may be. It's great for that. And then also like your muddlers and stuff like that. It's really good for that application. Your mini dungeons, it's a great, great choice. So I think what we're going to do is just omit the stimmies, and we're just going to go with the mid-season, replacing the stimmies. I think. Not 100% on that just yet. We may still offer it, but I'm not sure. But if you look at this, these three right here, this is all, you know, over an inch long, and look, you can see the tip difference right here. This one was off of a doe. That tip is so much longer right through there. It's a really long tip, okay? And a lot of the times the doe have that reddish color to them, like the reddish brown on the tips. From what I've noticed, there's some bucks that have it, but by and large, for the most part, it's the females that have that reddish tip, and it's a little tippier. These two are off of a buck. This one closer to the spine. This one going more down toward the flanks. But you can see the tips are a lot shorter on this, and a little bit easier, like not so much for stimmies or anything like that. There's the tips on this one, really nice short tips. Not so much for stimmies is it a big deal, but when you start getting down into your smaller caddis, your hair wings and stuff like that, the tip length is going to make a difference, because if the majority of your section that you're tying in is tip, you're not going to have the flare, the buoyancy, and all of that stuff that you're looking for. So once again, if you know that you're going to be tying, say, 16s and below, it's advantageous to call ahead and be like, hey, find me something with some very short tips on it. That way you're not going to struggle tying stuff in, and you're still going to get a good fly out of everything and have good usable hair. I was going to try and grade everything based off of tip length and categorize it, but it wound up being like so many different variables and packaging and all that stuff, and talked it over with Johnny, and it was just, the more stuff that's out there, it seems to confuse folks, and I was even getting confused myself as to what length and all of this it was going to be. So we just went with the short fine, the X fine, and then the stemmies. So going into the short fine, this is natural here. So all the short fine, and I think I had some more. These are some ginger bleach right here. Just show those real quick. But for the most part, I'll just speak to the natural. All of the short fine, when I measure it, it is a minimum of a 1/2 inch length, maximum of 1 inch. And that's up to the color break, okay? That's up to the color break. That's all the way up to here. This doesn't have a real pronounced color break. But right there is what I measure to, okay? The tips and all that may be a little bit longer, so you may have something over 1 inch long. But when I grade them, when I measure them, it's a 1/2 inch to 1 inch to the color break, okay? Here, this one's just a little bit shorter. Still really good, nice short tip hair right there. Everything's really nice and usable. I mean, you could probably get down to a 16 on that, possibly an 18, but I doubt it. This one for sure, not going to be sold because I'm missing a chunk right there. This one for sure, you can get down to your 18s. The tips are just super short and very nice, clean, usable hair. This one, very nice, short, fine hair. Tips are a little bit longer, okay? You're probably going to be looking at 14s and up on this, and it varies. Excuse me. It varies from not even deer to deer, from section to section. This will vary. I wish I had one, just like a strip section, and I could show you the variation from the spine. Typically 3 inches from either side off of the spine, you're going to start seeing your variances. And then as you get down to the belly hair, you get into this less defined, not a clean black break, and then also lighter on the tip hair. You don't have the black tips and all of that. It's crazy the difference, and you can drive yourself mad sorting through all of these and trying to fit everything into a certain box or a certain, component that you're looking for. Really difficult to do with a natural product. So we try to narrow it down as much as possible to get you the most consistency and the most reliability. But there is some stuff, if you're in the shop, great. You can go in and actually look at it, look at your tip length and all of that stuff, and be able to figure out exactly what you're using for that application. Other than that, like I said, probably going to have to call the shop or write a note in the order, whatever it may be. Now on to the X fine. The X fine is for your hair wings, okay? This is great for comparadons. Short fine's probably the best for your comparadons, but like your hair wing stuff, your X caddis, all of that, this is a phenomenal application. It's usually a little thinner than your short fine, usually a little bit longer. Tips are usually a little bit longer as well. And it's going to range in about the same. I have some stuff that's under a 1/2 inch that's still good, short tips and everything. That's where you're going to be your 18s and lower. There's some stuff that's out there, but for the most part, it's longer hair. And it's, like I said, for your hair wing flies. Um, Typically a little tippier and a little thinner. And for that, or because of that, well, there's a reason for that, is what I should say. And this is mostly taken off of that 6-inch strip right down the spine. Okay, that is your thinnest hair on the entire body of the deer. That 3 to 5 inches off the spine on either directions when you start getting into your short fine and your stemmy, whatever it may be. And that's just an anatomy thing, you know. Think of a ridge vent on a roof, okay? That's where all of the heat transfer takes place, okay? All of your exhaust, not exhaust, but your exhaust air goes up through the ridge vent. Same thing on an animal. That's like the cooling portion right there. That is where heat's going to escape or whatever, and it's not exposed to the elements as much as the belly hair or even like the flanks and all of that stuff. So it's not as thick, and typically a lot thinner, and some longer hair. Sometimes you'll get your cowlicks and all of that stuff in that section, but that's where the X-Fine, for the most part, is taken from. I still look at every single piece when I'm sorting. I look at everything, see if it's in fact short or not. If it doesn't make the grade for short, then it'll go into the X pile. So that's where those come from right there. And yeah, that's still good. And there's still some, like this would be great for, you know, caddis. This would be great for a found link, whatever it may be. It's going to work really well. This one right here just isn't going to quite have the flare that you would get off of the short, because there's not as many hollow properties to it. So it's really good for, like, man, I'm just losing hair everywhere. It's really good for, like, if you want a sparse wing comparadun or a cripple or something like that that has a pretty sparse wing set, that's going to be your choice right there. And like I said, you can still do some caddis and everything with it. It's just going to take maybe a little bit more hair to get you the result that you're after, as opposed to the short fine. The short fine's just going to flare really nice for you and create that traditional you know, caddis wing comparadun, whatever it is that you're after. But the X-Fine definitely has its applications, and hopefully, you know, I'll be able to sit down and do some videos highlighting the different things on the hair. That's the plan here. If I could maybe get that done, I'm not even going to try and put a timeline on it, because there's so much stuff that I need to get to with the hair and everything. And then finally, I'm going to go into some failures here. This is a light dun X-Fine. It's not terrible. The hide finish is just not what I was after. Got a bunch of hair popping out there anyhow. The hide finish, this one's actually not bad on the hide finish. This one right here, you can see it's all curled up and twisted, and so I'm just not going to sell it. That's some short fine, light dun, really tippy. Not the best graded. There's a ton of it here that I just haven't. I haven't quite gotten the short fine dun colors down how I wanted them just yet. There's the light I'm pretty good with. I like where it's at. Now it's just getting the hide to cooperate with me, which I'm getting a couple short fine hides ready to go, and then I'll be processing them here with the goal of having the inventory for next year. Really, this year I may get some light duns out to the shop. We'll see. I'll see if they have a need for them yet this year or what, but I may get some light out to them. But I want to do light and dark for sure. Um, Light and dark on the short and X fine. And then potentially some olive as well. So like for Kelly's Found Link, the olive body, the olive short fine would make a great body for that. So I think that's something that I may look at doing. I have some, it's on a close to short fine. I haven't looked at it real close just yet, but I have some up there off of one that I did the whole hide up closer to the neck. It wound up being closer to short fine than it was mid-season. So, and then finally, this is one of the ones that I did just this week. I just got it finished, just finished breaking it. This is a mid-season. There, you can see that in the front camera there. This is a mid-season Sculpin Olive. Just a beautiful die set. The entire hide's pliable. It's broken. This is a game changer, being able to do an entire hide at once. Before I was doing, maybe 5 to 7 of these 4x8s at a time on stovetop, really. But being able to dye an entire hide is a game changer. I'll be able to get so much more product out the door and out to you guys, really. But yeah, this was big. There's some good belly hair here. That's one thing too that I'll say. Of the 200 and some odd hides that I've done this year, maybe a dozen of them have good belly hair. The stuff that's real short, I'm just not going to sell it. I got frustrated when I would get belly hair in and it would be like an inch long. It's like, oh, I can't do anything with this, At most, you can create some dots, like if you're doing bass flies or something like that and you want to make like a dot or something here and there, that's where that application will be good. But for the most part, by and large, I don't really see a need for it, and it's just very frustrating to work with. But this right here, this is a nice section of belly hair. Probably 1.25 inches, probably 1.5 inches. Nice belly hair right there. I'll process this up and I'll get this out. This is more like a, I don't know, like a ginger color than it is a Sculpin Olive. It's crazy the difference, the variation that you get from color, from the same dye bath, the variation that you'll get from different sections of the deer. It's just insane. And then, speaking on the dyeing process and all that, I found that a 3 to 5 degree difference on this Sculpin Olive will get me more toward a medium ginger. If I go up, 10 degrees more, I'm at a dark ginger. And there's a lot of variation with a lot of the different colors that are out there. I'm still experimenting with a lot of that stuff. But yeah, look for some non-traditional colors to come out of this, because like I said, I take notes on everything. I experiment with so much different stuff, just trying to get something unique and also repeatable. Some stuff that I've gotten, it's like the coolest color in the world. Like I've got some browns that have like a vibrant orange tip, and 100% the first thing I thought of when I saw that was October Caddis and then a Dungeon. It was just phenomenal. Can't repeat it. I tried a couple times, whether it's what the temperature I put my acid in, how long it stays in after it's cooling, whatever it may be. There's just so many variables. So right now I'm just looking for consistency in the colors, like the Sculpin Olives, your yellows, the peacocks. I'm finding some consistency in that. All of your traditional colors, I'm looking for consistency. And then once I get that, now that I have the hide figured out, I can start playing with different colors and variations and temperatures and all of that. And it's going to be pretty exciting to see what we're able to come up with. So be expecting maybe some off the wall stuff, some unique stuff for sure. But then also your traditionals as well, your bleached, your ginger bleach. The ginger bleach, I don't have any on the bench here other than this right here. I just did, I want to say 2 dozen on the spinning hair. Absolutely phenomenal. So there is a big difference now between the ginger bleach and the actual bleach. Very noticeable the second you look at it. It is a lot more of like an ash color compared to the bleach where it's almost a pure white. Yeah, so some big changes, some big improvements over the last year. A lot more to come for certain as we upgrade equipment and stuff like that, learn more obviously, but keep the feedback coming, please. I really do value it. There's a lot of good information that I get, and I'm still learning as I'm going here on some of this stuff as well. So one thing that I will say is that that is not for a lack of effort. This is pretty much consuming my life here over the last 2 years. Made some very big improvements and changes in the actual quality of the product. Like a year ago, I would have never been able to get this. Never. Like completely broken, completely pliable, ready to cut up, package, and ship. This one's got some funky cowlicks and everything in it, so I don't know. Probably not going to get a whole usable section out of this. Have to be really selective when I'm trimming this one up. But yeah, for the Carolina deer, the hair's a little bit thinner, even in the late season stuff. Like, I don't get much late season down here. That'll all be coming from Montana and Idaho this year, where Jack's at, and then what I have left over. But yeah, it's a lot thinner. You're definitely not going to get something up to the 1.5 to 2 inch range. Well, you get 1.5 inches, but it's not as thick. It doesn't have the curves, the waves, and everything. So get a lot more mid-season out of the Carolina deer. And then the late season stuff will be coming from Montana, but there's going to be plenty of that for sure. I think Jack told me he did like 125, or is working 125 or something like that. So he's just about as goofy as I am. As far as taking on the workload and all that stuff, which is good. There'll be plenty of product to go around now that the process is getting figured out. But I think I rambled on long enough. It's been a while, like I said, since I've been in front of the camera. First, I've sat down at the bench actually with material and everything. Hopefully be able to get on and spin a few flies up on video and everything. I know that I can't do the weekly like I was doing before. It's just not possible right now. There's not enough time in the day. But I would like to try and get back to doing a few videos here and there. We'll see. We'll see how things go, how things play out, and if I can get a couple of free minutes or whatever, maybe I can sit down and put a video together. But like I said, keep the comments coming, keep the feedback coming on the hair, and then if you guys are looking for anything specific, let me know. I'll see if I can work it and potentially do some custom stuff. I don't want to commit to that just because I'm so busy fulfilling everything else, but there's definitely some stuff that I can work on. As far as custom stuff goes, I know I had a couple of folks looking for some chartreuse body hair, not belly, so that'll be something that I can do later on. Probably won't get to it anytime soon. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. I still got orders and everything that I'm getting ready for Kelly and all of that, so yeah, once I get the breaking wheel and everything up and running, that'll free up a lot of time, so I should be able to maybe work some custom stuff in. So maybe by fall, I can start working some custom stuff in. But we'll see on as far as that goes. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. I hear the dogs barking, so I gotta cut this one off. Anyhow, thanks as always for watching. Good being back in front of the camera again. Looking forward to hearing from some folks that I haven't been in contact with for a while, so definitely good to be back. And like I said, let me know if you've got any comments or anything on the hair. Feedback's always welcome, even if it's telling me it's shit. I've had a couple of them. Hey, it happens. It happens. Anyhow, thanks as always for watching, and can't say we'll catch you next week, but we'll catch you soon. Thanks.